Hi everyone, welcome back to another Cut Above with Chris. It's not a shaving video today. Well, I've done my two shaving videos. This one is going to be basically a sort of beginner's guide to synthetics, and also a guide to synthetics for those of you that are contemplating going from natural hair to synthetic fibre brushes. So, I only own one natural hair brush at the moment, and it's the Red Dirt 2-band Finest. Gloria Cheng is the one that the knots come from, and it was knotted by Leo Frio in his handle. Now, I don't get on very well with it. I've never really got on well with any natural hair brush, if I'm brutally honest, other than maybe the Simogonus Club Boar and possibly the 2-band Finest that was in the Wolf Whiskers brush that I had. But I have never been able to create the same lathers as I can with synthetic brushes, whether it would be an expensive synthetic or whether it be a cheap synthetic. It doesn't really matter. Now if you just hold on a minute, I'm just going to grab another couple of brushes to grab. Okay, so here we go. Now, I'm not an expert by any means whatsoever. Everything that I know about this hobby is generally something that I've either read or experienced myself, or had advice from people, or just tips and tricks that you find along the way. I am basically an exclusive synthetic brush user, and I don't use natural hair brushes. I do have two. I forgot I had another one. I got this one when I bought the One Blade, the Vulfix Original Super Badger, made in England. I've not used this. I probably won't use it. It's brand new. It's never been used, and it's not a funky sort of scent in there anyway. But I did notice when I got it, it's not the best shaped knot. And if you sort of splay your hand, I know it's not wet, you shouldn't do this, but if you splay your hands over it a little bit, it pops the odd hair out as well, so it is shedding a little bit, but it's never been used. This one is the Leo Frio. As you can see, 2-band Finest. I'm not sure what the loft is on it. I would say it's around about 50 to 55 mil. It's got a lot of backbone in it, a lot of backbone. Now this has got no scritch at all. It's very, very nice for face lathering and for bowl. It's excellent for bowl lathering. But it eats lather, and I struggle with it. I really struggle with natural hair brushes. I really do, and that's a thing for me that I struggle with. But it's a lovely little brush. I was going to keep it. It is up for trade at the moment on the Red Dirt Shaving Society page. And if anyone's interested, send me an email, anothercutabove@gmail.com, or send me a message on Facebook if you know me on there, or if you find me on there. But yeah, lovely little brush. Just not my thing. I'm just not into natural hair brushes at all. However, if you want to, in my opinion, progress from natural hair into synthetic, I think you really have to do it the right way if you've never used a synthetic brush before. Now, this here was the first brush synthetic that I ever owned. I never used it for months, and then one day I pulled it out, I used it, and fell in love with synthetic brushes. These are just very floppy, they're soft, there's no scritch with them, there's no scratch. Got a bit of scrub, but there's no backbone. I think this is like a 20 mil knot. It's a tiny little knot coming out the bottom here. Just to put it into comparison, when you put it next to the 25 mil Black Wolf, you can see the difference in the width of the knot at the base. It's massive. So that was my first synthetic. Now, personally, this is another one as well. Very similar, very little backbone. This one's a little bit more dense. It's a wider knot as well at the base. This is about a 22 mil, I think, at the base of the knot here. And they're all right. You know that they're great. If it's the first brush you've ever used synthetic, then they're brilliant. And I think they're still good enough to pull you off of natural hair brushes or make you favour synthetics more than natural hair. But that's just me personally. I just think these are, for the price, excellent little brushes. But if I had my choice over to start off with a brush jumping straight from natural hair into synthetic, and you're trying to make that transition or try and incorporate synthetic brushes into your shave routines, this knot here I'm pretty sure is the same knot. This one's a 24 mil, I think, at the base, might even be less than that, but this one I think is a 26 mil. Looking at it now, I'm pretty sure these are both boss knots, or this is the equivalent of a boss knot. You can see the shape of them is pretty much identical. Heaps of backbone, very, very similar to the 2-band Finest. There's no scritch at all with either of these knots if you face lather. They've got, even these two brushes, they're great for bowl lathering because you've got a lot of length on them for getting into your bowl. The face feel on them is incredible. Got lovely scrub, but no scritch. So you can get stuck in with these, and they're just super soft. But in my opinion, the closest you'll get to a natural hair fibre feeling without the natural hair. Now, your next level sort of from that, or maybe not next level, the knot that I find very similar to that one is the Game Changer knot, which I've got here. I've actually got two Manchester United brushes, both made by Leo Frio. This is the one that I bought, and this is the one that Oivie Chapo sent to me, piffed to me very kindly. I'll probably be keeping both of these, and I might actually give them to my boys when they start wet shaving. It would be nice to give them, I mean, I'm Man United in my heart now, so I want to give them something special when they start with the first shaving set, so I'll probably keep these and give them one each, maybe the tall one for the tallest and the short one for the shortest. But yeah, this knot is the Game Changer knot. It's a very similar colour, very similar sort of style to the Boss knot, but if you look at the Boss knot and then look at the Game Changer, these are pretty similar in terms of width at the bottom, but they're a total different shaped knot. The Boss knot, if I push it all the way over here, it springs straight back to where it was. It's got great memory, so you're not having to sort of shape it all the time. I like my knots to look nice. I like them to sort of be shaped when I put them away and dried off and everything. So this holds its shape, as does the Razor Rock 400. Holds its shape. You push it to the side, it springs straight back. The Game Changer knot, however, if you push it to the side, it goes that way. Push it to that side, it goes that way. Can you see where the peak is? The peak's over here now. It's over here now. It sits where it is. Now this is a lovely soft knot, very similar face feel as what you get from the Boss knot, just not as pretty to look at in my opinion. That's really it. Personally, if I had my way, I would have this at an even higher loft. I think it needs a much higher loft on the Game Changer than what you do on the Boss knot, because it seems to be narrower and sits narrower as you go up. It's a very small knot in size wise comparison to that. That is much bigger than that. So it's big difference in my opinion. But they both feel similar on the face. They both do a similar sort of job. It just comes down to cosmetic looks. They both, in my opinion, would be the knot of choice for someone transferring from natural hair into synthetic brushes, because you want to try and make it smooth. Now the next knot that you could look at, in my opinion, would be this here. These are available from TF Custom Shaving Brushes, custom brushes. Tony Forsyth makes these in Australia. It doesn't make the knot, but he turns the handles. He does not sell these knots separately. They are a black and white tuxedo knot. I don't know who his supplier is, and in fairness to Tony, he's not said anything about it because he's tested hundreds of knots to find the one that he likes. This knot is almost a hybrid cross between this knot, the Boss knot, and this knot, which is the tuxedo knot that's available from Leo Frio when you get it from. This is a real tuxedo. This to me is like a version of the tuxedo, but you get that lovely scrub thick. I mean, there's heaps of backbone in here. This is a 26mm knot, but as you can see, it is huge compared to There's not much difference here, but I can tell you right now, there's way more hairs packed into this, way more fibres. It's a lot denser, but face feel, this is softer. So you're sort of progressing again from your Boss and Game Changer, where it's more scrub, no scritch, to sort of a similar amount of scrub with less face feel, if you know what I mean. It's very soft, but you get a lot of scrub with it, and as you can see when it displays, it's huge. But this one is the next one up again for me, on the way to the best knot that you can get, in my opinion. So that is available from Tony Forsyth. It's the only place I know you can get this exact knot at the moment. Highly recommend it. Tony's handles are beautiful. This is the Phantom Nebula custom handle. It was commissioned for my channel, and his work is really outstanding, and he's a lovely guy, Tony, really worth working with. He gets in contact with you straight away and sorts anything out you want, and his turnaround's very quick, very similar to Leo Frio. Gets turned around very fast from what you want to actually getting it in your hand. And that moves me on to the tuxedo knot. This one was custom made by Leo Frio once again. The Celtic hoops knot, green and white hoops, brilliant. Now this knot is so soft, it's not even funny. You don't even, literally if you had to shut your eyes and someone had to touch your face with that, you'd be hard pushed to feel it, it's so soft. But once again, there's a lot of backbone in there. The bulb knot, which this is a tuxedo bulb, 24mm, it's got a lot of backbone, it really has, but when it splays, you get a great amount of splay on it. I mean that's a massive splay for such a, let's see if I can get it to splay, you really need water in there, but you can see the splay is huge. For such a small knot, it's not much smaller than the 26mm tuxedo that Tony Forsyth does. But in terms of softness, this is just incredible. It is almost like the top of the range. It's almost like a makeup brush really, not that I use makeup brushes, but I do my daughter's makeup every now and then for her dancing, and this reminds me so much of those really expensive makeup brushes. Very soft, but this whips up awesome lathers. It's great for face lathering, bowl lathering, and it releases the lather very well as well. Now this moves me on to the Black Wolf knot. Very, very similar. There is a slight difference in shape, very ever so slightly, but that could be down to the loft. The loft on the Leo Frio is slightly higher than what it is. I'll just try and get them level so you can just see there. It's just ever so slightly higher on the green brush. Now, this knot is extremely similar. There is a chance it's the same, but I will say something. This feels ever so slightly softer on your face. And I'm talking very small amounts. And the only reason I feel it is because I use these brushes all the time, and I can feel the difference. Even when I'm face lathering, I can feel the difference with this brush over the tuxedo knot in my Leo Frio. This is super soft, great backbone. It's just an all-round amazing knot in my opinion. The Black Wolf from Peter Wolf Whiskers. You can also get these in the Nathan Clark Envy Shaves brushes. I'm not sure whether he's got any of these bulb ones. I only seem to see the fan knots come out of his shop, so I'm not sure. And then gets me on to, at the moment, my favourite knot, which is a 25mm Black Wolf fan, which is pretty much the spitting image of that last Black Wolf with a bigger knot, 25mm fan, and you can see the difference. It's huge. It really is. This knot is superb. And I think once you get to this knot, once you've been through all these ones coming from natural hair and you get up to here, I'd be surprised if you went back to natural hair brushes, I really would. This just feels incredible. It's got massive amount of face coverage. It's got heaps of backbone. It's just an incredible knot. And that to me is the knot you're sort of aiming for eventually. It'll rock your world when you're shaving. It makes lathers like that. It's that good. Doesn't matter what soap I've used, generally I'll get something half decent out of it, even if it's a poor lathering soap. This and the other tuxedo knots will get the best out of that soap. If you can't get it to work with a synthetic, then if you can't get it to work with a synthetic, you'll never get it to work with a natural hair brush. And I'm sort of sad really that I got rid of Mitchell's Wool Fat, because I would have loved to have tried Mitchell's Wool Fat with a synthetic brush, because I never tried it with a synthetic, just to see if I could get a lather out of it, because I could not lather that soap for shit. It was an awful soap to try and lather. But anyway guys, that's pretty much it. The only other knot I've got in my den at the moment is my travel brush, which is the Mueller travel brush, silver tip fibre knot. And don't let the size of this knot put you off, just to give you an idea of how small it is. I'll put it next to one of the Game Changer knots, which is quite small. As you can see, it's a tiny little knot. There's not a lot of density in it, but there's a good bit of backbone. It splays really small. It's actually such a small knot. There you go. So that's the splay on it. Now, when I bought this, I didn't think it'd be any good, but it's surprisingly efficient at making lathers. The great thing with it is, you unscrew the bottom, you unscrew the knot, turn it around, pop your knot in, let it sink down. And there you go. You put your air holes in the bottom to let it breathe, and you really can't go wrong. It's a great little brush, absolutely brilliant. And for travelling purposes, that's all you need really. Just that there. Doesn't take up much room. It's protected in there. It's not going to get damaged. They're not super expensive. They are not cheap, but they're not super expensive. And they work great. They're soft. They don't have any scratch. You get a nice scrub off them, and that's about it. But yeah, that's my video basically on a progression into synthetics from natural hair, and also for beginners out there that are looking to get synthetic brushes. and people that aren't into getting natural fibre brushes, vegans and people along those lines that just don't want to use badger or boar or horsehair. Horsehair is probably a bit different because it comes off a live animal. It doesn't come from a dead animal generally, and well, I'd like to think it doesn't come from dead horses. But I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you got something from it. I hope it gives you a bit of a incentive to go and try a synthetic brush if you haven't tried one yet. I think they're highly worth it. I got this one here from Troy Hove, who tried this knot and didn't like it, but didn't want to damage the handle, taking it out and putting another knot in, so it was a big win for me. And in the end he got a great brush for it as well, which I did use once, the Bob Quinn Custom with the Manchurian knot in it, and it worked superb, so it was a sort of win-win for both of us. So other than that, I shall leave you guys to it. It's been a pretty long video for that, but I hope it's been informative. I hope it helps you guys choose what sort of knot you want in a synthetic brush. And yeah, stay safe, drive safe, don't drink and drive, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Cheers.